Alright, hello urban farmers, and welcome to another episode. Now this is going to be a very short episode. I've been a little bit absent because I've just we had, as a family, had a baby boy, so it's been pretty busy last couple of weeks, or 3 weeks I should say. But today I want to talk about mulching. First, let's just talk about the reasons why we mulch. So there's a couple of reasons. One, when the mulch breaks down, you want that to be the nutrient for the plant, essentially. So you mulch every year, and when that sort of breaks down, it's going to turn into valuable resources and nutrients for your plants. And the other thing that you want to have is, when you put mulch down, is to preserve as much water in the ground as you possibly can, and that sort of makes sure that not everything evaporates out. And it just provides a good ground cover. Now those are the two sort of main or basic reasons. I mean, there's other reasons you probably want to put a bit of mulch down, whether you're putting it down so the ground is not muddy and all this sort of stuff, you can walk through it and all that sort of stuff. But two main reasons that I put mulch down is basically because of watering and the nutrients. Now I went to throw my rubbish, sort of a trailer worth of rubbish out to the tip, and then right next door they had like a yard where they sell mulch, and I thought, oh well, I'll go down there and get some mulch and stuff. So I went down and I saw 3 or 4 different piles of mulch. I think there probably was about 5 different piles. There was 3 that had a couple of different colors and all this sort of stuff, and then there was some green waste and blah blah blah. Initially I thought, you get yourself mulch. All mulch is made from your normal wood and all that sort of stuff, which was fine. But make sure, which something I didn't know, and I do know now, make sure that you get mulch that's actually made out of fresh trees, or trees that were once trees. What I've seen, mulch, this applies more to Australia than it does to say anywhere else, because we still use arsenic in our wood. I suppose it could quite easily relate to other parts of the world, given that what these guys were doing, they would receive fences, they would receive any type of wood they could basically get their hands on, and then they would mulch that. Now the problem is that a lot of this wood has arsenic in it, this sort of pressure treated wood, and that's not good for your plants. It's not good for the environment in general, but it's definitely not good for the edible plants. And on this channel we focus mainly on edible plants. So make sure that when you actually order your mulch, that it's not pressure treated wood that you're receiving. Anyway, so I went, there was 3 or 4 piles there. The colored mulch that they had was basically all made out of these pressure treated pine, or mainly pressure treated pine. I mean, what else are they going to pressure treat? Hardwood? I don't think so. So they basically just ripped this up. It was mulched 3 times, I think the guy said, and all this sort of stuff. But the fact is that it doesn't break down too well. So even if you use this stuff, it would probably be okay to use, say if you use it in a park where you've got just trees that provide shade that are never going to provide fruit and all this sort of stuff, and you just want to use it there, then I think that's okay to use it there. You probably won't ever be planting any fruit trees there. But don't use it in your garden. Now they had 2 options there. They had bark mulch, which is something that I bought, and it breaks down nice and evenly and all that sort of stuff, and I put it all across my backyard. And they also had green waste mulch. So the green waste is when someone cuts them hedges down, or they cut their tree down or whatever, they bring it there and then they sort of mulch that up. Now that's fresh mulch. You can probably use that. I don't know when it sort of breaks down. That hasn't broken down at all. Now the problem with that is that as it breaks down, it needs a lot of nitrogen, so you're either going to have to give it a little bit of artificial nitrogen, or find ways to sort of get those nitrogen levels up, either through coffee bean grinds or something along those lines. You'll have to sort of throw around. So that's basically it. Make sure when you go, a couple of things. We know what mulch is meant to be doing, and then we get mulch for what we actually need it to do, right? In our in a situation where we've got fruit trees and all that sort of stuff, we want mulch to be able to give nutrients to our trees as it breaks down, and we want it to make sure that a lot of water doesn't evaporate, and it keeps the weeds down and all that sort of stuff. two types of mulch that's been made from old fences, fresh treated pine and all that sort of stuff is probably going to be okay for the plants that never produce any fruit and you're not going to be eating from it. It won't break down as easily. It's probably why they use it in parks, so they don't have to refill it every year. They refill it every 3-4 years. But yeah, don't use that at home. Get yourself some bark mulch if you can, and also if you want to, you can also get yourself green waste mulch, which basically means they've mulched up anything that's basically green waste, from hedges to cut down prune trees or whatever the case might be. Anyway, so I thought I'd just sort of let you guys know, and if you enjoy this video, or if you'd like some new videos and you want to be notified when these new videos come out, now that things have settled out at home, I'll try and sort of provide a few more. There's one that I'm making now that's on soil, so I want to sort of go through what the soil's meant to be doing, the different types of soils and all that sort of stuff. That's the next video that's coming out. Anyway, thank you very much, and I will see you shortly. Bye.